Good morning, Willen and Stanley. Thank you for
Morning.
that. Yes, it's the final sprint indeed. So back to your question, how hard has that been? Because I've been in the privileged position of working with sales professionals from different industries. That's why I don't have a one answer that fits all, because different industries have been impacted in different ways. So I think one of the biggest hit industries that I work with, because of the fact that their business involves showing physical property, that's in the real estate business. I think real estate business is really a lot about clients having a touch and feel, especially in Singapore. Because when we are overseas, that's where it is understood sometimes due to physical distance, we are used to virtual showrooms and all that. But for Singapore, it took quite a while for many of our Singaporeans to be more comfortable to decide on buying anything at all until they have been able to see it. Whereas other industries that I work with, like the insurance industry, finance and banking industry, more or less the nature of the sales products, they are not actually physical products. They are solutions, right? Either through the way we plan for them, the could be the allocation of resource of funds in different portfolio. All that does not really require you to physically meet the client. So from what I've seen, some out of the entire finance and banking industry, about 40% of them just like died. They were, whoo, they just felt that, I can't meet my clients, so I can't do any sales. Whereas 60% whom I've seen, they have thrived because they are able to meet more clients like back to back and being able to connect with them quickly and doing online trades very quickly. So in summary, within different industries have been impacted differently. Overall speaking, the whole sales industry has definitely been affected, including my own training and speaking business.
Yeah, so the impact really is different from sector and sector to
Yeah.
industry. Let's also talk about the current times that we're in, the current very challenging economic times. And looking at my calendar, we're barely just over a month away to Christmas, and then hello 2021. So which means that yes, the year is running out very quickly, and some of us, especially in the sales positions and roles that we are in, are getting desperate. Desperate times calls for desperate measures, and salespeople can get desperately aggressive. But we don't want also to scare away and push away, turn off potential customers. How do we do that in times of kind of desperation as well? That we want to make some sales, but we don't want to be too pushy or be insensitive about it.
Yeah, in fact, I hear your desperate word a lot, and I hear a lot of them telling me that, oh, I'm desperate, trying to make the final call. If I could link back to one of the philosophy that I shared last year in one of our conversations is, regardless of good times, bad times, the sales philosophy should never be to sell. So my sales philosophy is don't sell, help them buy. Once you have that concept that you're not trying to sell them, they when your desperation to sell reduces, right, the desire for clients to buy increases. So whether, especially during these times, I have been a customer of insurance solutions, banking solutions, whereby when I saw that the sales professional was just, as always, sharing with me what's good for me, what's in line with my investment interests, I feel that, how is it that she's not so pushy, unlike some other companies I've met where they are like, oh, you have to, that was a good time, yeah, plus I need to hit some target. If you could support me. When I hear words like that, oh, I'm totally put off because it just shows that they are more concerned about their interest rather than mine. So whether it is in good times like in the past or the tough times that are now, the philosophy applies, right? The moment you stop trying to sell a client, stop putting that desperation look on your face because your eyes will have the ka-ching, the dollar sign in your eyes, no, and you're desperate to sell something. And that's a clients will sense it and they'll run far away. So apply the same concept, help clients buy, and you'll find that no matter what times, you will still be able to bring in the sales. You'll be able to attract the sales rather than trying to run after it.
Right. When you put it that way, to a layman like myself, it still sounds very scary, especially with businesses, laying off staff, scaling back operations and tightening their belts. If you say, I'm not here to sell, they may really not want to buy. So do you think that companies might be more forgiving of their sales staff in this kind of environment, or is the prospect of being retrenched or sacked for not meeting your targets still very real?
Yeah, thank you, William, for bringing that up. I'd like to comment very quickly about what you just said. When I said don't sell is a philosophy, it's a mindset. You don't go around telling clients, hey, I'm not here to sell you. You know? That is usually the opposite. Just like I'm not a drunkard, but I'm totally a drunkard. So you don't actually tell people that. It is that mindset when you go there that there's an amazing force, speaking from my own sales experience of 20 over years, right? When your conviction and your belief comes from within, that's where you attract the business. And talking about companies being more forgiving, being more understanding, yes, especially one of the biggest industry that I work with, the insurance industry, even for their qualifications, like the $1 million roundtable qualifications, it has been especially adjusted for this year due to COVID-19 situation. So that the usual high standards are not there. They actually reduce it. Eligibility requirements are removed. Everybody has equal fight. And that gives everybody an incentive, but there's also a danger, like you said, Stanley, they become desperate. They feel like, oh, if this is not the year to get qualify for certain standards like MDRT, $1 million roundtable, then when will it be? And as a result, some of them appear too pushy, too desperate, and it has a adverse effect. In the end, it drives away customers. So you're not alone. No? A lot of salespeople have that concern that what if I'm not hungry enough? What if I don't push hard enough? That's where I may be the first one on the chopping board to be like, since you're not that desperate. But this is the touchy part, the very tricky part whereby when your mindset comes in, that I'm not here to sell clients, I'm here to help clients. Your desire to help would drive you to really look for the big why of clients. And that's one of the key topics I've been delivering in the last few months, right? The bigger the why that you discover in the clients, the bigger your deal size, without you intentionally planning to sell them a big plan or bring a lot of funds. And that's where, when you start to have that mindset, they will naturally improve in their sales and they'll naturally be way ahead than those who are too desperate and like, yes, please support me. As a result, from what I've seen in real life experience, those who appear too desperate, they end up being at the bottom line instead of being in the forefront. So the summary is really the mindset that will drive everybody ahead. And that's something that I've been actively doing in the past 3 months to train sales professionals from around the world.
And it really, while you're describing how it's supposed to be, it sounds very much like day-to-day relationships, right? If you're a boyfriend, girlfriend kind of thing, and you're trying to hook her up and things like that. You don't do same with your approach, but finding out what are her needs, what she likes, things like that, and then going for the kill. Well, okay,
yeah, you got me perfectly. That's wonderful analogy. I love that.
Well, for our listeners, especially those who are in a sales role, a sales function, you probably identify very much with the topic at hand that we are discussing. Feel free to share with us your thoughts, your comments about how you go about doing your sales. Because like what Maxine said, don't sell, help clients buy. How do you do that? We'd like to hear from you if you are in a sales position, a sales role as well. All you got to do is send us a text message right now. And the number is 963-11938. Or you can call us if you'd like to speak with us or have a question for Maxine, 669-11938. Very stressful times indeed for those who are in the sales function. How can people in this particular role deal with the extra pressure and stress now as the end of the year is very much within view, Maxine?
This is a question close to the hearts of many people, salespeople whom I work with and coach, Stanley. And when I meet them, I've been doing a lot of one-on-one coaching for individuals who are trying to outdo themselves or trying to hit certain targets. And the moment I tell them, stop trying to hit certain targets, stop trying to outdo your colleagues. But what you need to start doing is to outdo yourself. And the moment I say that, I mean, even when I'm saying it now, my hair is standing because they will look at me like, dun, dun, dun. It's like an epiphany moment because they've been trying so hard to think that I'm benchmarking myself to industry standards, to the rest of my companies and all that. And it drives them nuts and it paralyzes them. But the moment when I advise them and coach them that when you want to outdo yourself, how much is better for yourself? You may not be as good or even better than last year, but factoring what's happening to the world, whatever you're doing now, if you can outdo yourself right now, just by 10% or 20% before the year ends, you have done yourself justice. And I see that look of relief, like, and that moment, and that drives them. And I've been monitoring them and observing them. I've done this for the past 3 months, and they have actually texted me to say, Maxine, the moment I stop feeling so desperate and feeling so stressed, I start to really think about what my clients want. And somehow I'm getting a lot of referrals. Clients say that they love my style, the way I'm so professional. They start attracting business. And that links back to my philosophy. When you stop selling, clients will want to buy from you. That's how ironic and how true that mantra is.
And I guess that applies even to those who are not in sales.
Absolutely. You heard that. That's why when you introduced me just now, you talked about the secret manner of the sales warrior. My book was intended, the primary market is for sales professionals. But as I was writing it, I'm thinking everything that I've been writing applies to those of us who work in the office. So I've called them fondly the office warriors. So everything, the moment you try to sell an idea desperately to your boss on why you should have higher pay or why you should have more flexible work conditions, the more desperate you look, the more your boss will shoot you down. But when you can really put yourself in their shoes, find those mutual benefits, don't try so hard to sell, but help them to buy into the idea, that's where you will always be able to turn any skeptic into advocate. So you're right, Waylin, it applies to everyone else, not just sales professionals.
All right. So, what advice or closing thoughts will you have for our listeners as they make their final sprint to the finishing line, whether they're sales professionals or other contributors?
That's a thought-provoking question, and I have so much to share, but if there's just one key message, is to give yourself credit. I think we don't do enough of that. We're constantly blaming ourselves for, I do so badly, I could have done better, and they start criticizing ourselves. So give yourself credit. So William and Stanley, please pat yourself on the back right now. You have come so far. You're alive. You're constantly raising your game on your show. I'm enjoying listening to all of you. So give yourself credit. William, are you patting your back right now?
I think I should.
Can you hear me pat myself? Yeah.
All right. Yes. I guess we should try to be kind to ourselves, because we're always so kind to other people and we sometimes forget to do that for ourselves, right?
That is so true. So be kind to yourself, and you find that the moment you start to love yourself, that's where your stress levels go down and your sales performance or work performance goes up. There you go.